Welcome back to the Pet Marketing Unleashed podcast. I'm so excited to dive into today's episode because we're talking about one of my very favorite topics, websites, which obviously makes sense since we are website designers, but it's something that can really make a huge impact on your business. Whether you're a dog walker, a pet sitter, dog trainer, or any other type of pet service professional, your website is more than just a digital business card. It's a powerful tool that can work for you, bringing in more clients and making your business run smoother. In this episode, I get into some key elements of a successful website and things you can do above the fold to get people to stay on your website longer and ultimately reach out as a potential client. This is a good one, and I can't wait for you to listen. Welcome, Petpreneur, to the Pet Marketing Unleashed podcast. I'm your host, Michaela Vargas, founder, designer, and educator behind Pet Marketing Unleashed. This podcast is all about growing your pet business without the stress. Here, you'll find episodes packed with actionable tips and advice for streamlining your online presence, avoiding burnout, and onboarding new clients while you're away from your desk or out with the dogs. So pop in those earbuds and learn stress-free marketing and website strategies with me while you head out on your next dog walk, pet sitting visit, drive to your next session, or just wherever your pet business takes you next. Let's dive in. Before we jump into the actionable tips, obviously there are some overarching key elements that make a successful website. These are topics that we're going to cover in more depth in future episodes. Topics like branding, onboarding processes, SEO, user experience, and copywriting. But today, I'm sharing some quick things you can change on your website today to help increase conversions, aka get more leads and more bookings. All of these things are going to be super easy for you to implement. They are things that you should be able to go in to your website provider and update and to be able to see results from it afterwards. And with this episode, we're going to specifically focus in not just on the homepage, but more specifically, everything that your website visitor will see right upon landing on your homepage, which is what us designers call above the fold. This is the part of your website homepage that is shown before anyone starts scrolling or clicking anything, and it's what encapsulates your visitor's very first impression. This is super important because if you fail at making a great first impression or you confuse your website visitor, they are going to leave your website in seconds. And I mean it when I'm saying just seconds. It does not take very long for people to go off and do another website. So let's get into some quick tips you can update on your website to get people staying on your website longer and ultimately get in touch. This first tip that I'm going to bring up is so dang easy to update and is missing way more than it should be, and that's why I'm bringing it up first. And that's your business's location and service area. Not only do you want this on your website for user experience, this is crucial text for SEO. Google needs to know where your business is located too, so it can show up higher and more relevant searches. So if somebody is looking for a dog trainer in their area, you're going to be more likely to show up if you have your location front and center on your website. This can be added to your main headline, or it can even be added as a subhead, or perhaps even above your main navigation, you have a text box that says, "We serve Los Angeles and surrounding communities." The bottom line is we need to be able to see where you're located and where you serve clients so that visitors can immediately know if you can be a potential solution to their problem. Next tip I have for you, strategic headlines. With headlines, the goal is to make a potential client feel understood by you. It's your opportunity to say, "I've got you, I understand you, and I can help you." This is especially true in the pet industry when your clients are having to put a lot of trust in you to do well for their pets. You want to make sure that your headline is very clear. I know puns are super popular in this space. Everybody loves a good pun, but I'd really recommend leaving most puns just for body text versus your headlines. You do not need to be super clever here. This is your opportunity to be super direct and focus on how you can solve your potential clients' problems. And the simpler you can say that to your website visitors, the sooner they're going to know if you're somebody who can help them. A good headline will explain what you do, who you do it for, and how you do it better or easier or more effectively or whatever makes your business unique. For more tips on headlines, we have a blog on our website that walks you through the process of how to write a headline. It goes into all the steps, some examples, outlines, and so much more. You can access that at petmarketingunleashed.com/headline. I will also link it in the show notes so that you can access it later as well. All right, next tip. Simplify your navigation and main menu. It is so easy to add more and more to our main navigation as we add more pages or services to our website. But with these main menus, less is more. You want this again to be super clear and direct using very clear language. For example, I recommend just keeping it about us versus using phrases like what makes us unique. Or instead of saying reach out to us, just write contact, right? You want to keep it super clear so that everyone knows what to expect and what page every page is. Again, this is also good for SEO because Google is making sure that websites have those standard pages that shows that there's a human behind this website. It's a legit website because we have an about page, we have a contact page. Those are key pages that every website should have. As far as how many items to have in your main menu, I don't recommend having more than like 6 or 7 menu items because you do not want to cause decision fatigue or overwhelm or confusion. In some cases, you can either add additional pages in the footer or you can just kind of audit and go back in and figure out, do I actually need this page in my main header, or can this be something that somebody accesses as they, natively organically go through the website? So an example of this less important page could be potentially zip code pages or testimonial pages. Some people like to do just like a gallery page. That's something that typically is not, I don't recommend for pet industry website pages because that's where you can promote your social media. As far as testimonials, you want those organically scattered throughout your website. There is a time and place for zip code pages. How it's done most of the time, I don't recommend even having those pages on there. It's not something that people are clicking on from that main menu. Another thing that you can do if they are important pages and you want them to be seen on every page of your website, what you can do instead that I do for some clients is say on the header, we have a page menu item that is simply called services. Within the footer, we're going to break down those services. So instead of just putting services, we put dog walking, pet sitting, dog training, and dog grooming. We put that into the footer so that people can just click directly to that particular service page. It also is helpful for SEO because now it's just a text box in the footer that's on every page of your website showing one of your main keywords for your services. But again, the goal here is to keep your page menu simple, clear, and direct, just like everything else on your website. We don't need to get super creative. We just want to be simple, we want to be straightforward, and we want to be clear so that people know how to navigate your website right upon landing on it. The next tip that I want you to pay attention to on your homepage above the fold is your call to action buttons. Call to actions, or CTAs, are crucial for guiding your visitors to the next step, which is the ultimate goal for you, right? So you want to make that ask and you want to give that opportunity easily. Do not make people work for it. You don't want them to have to now call you. They have to go through all sorts of steps. How do I figure out if I can work with them? Is there a contact form I need to go to? Or like, do I need to create an account? Like, what do I need to do? You do not want to cause confusion on your website. So with call to action buttons, make sure that the color is bold and easy to use. You want to use action-oriented words like book now, book a call, schedule your meet and greet, or contact us. You don't want anything wishy-washy like learn more, because like what's going to be on that next page when I click learn more? You want it to be super direct, super simple with action words. And with this and where you want to place it, I recommend placing them in the main header of the site so that it can be accessed from every single page. But you can also place it under the headline in that main banner area as long as it's above the fold. And you can do both. You can place it in the header and below the headline, but at the very least, one of those options works well so that you have at least one button above the fold. And it's that main call to action that you want your ideal client to take if they land on your website. So think of your number one goal on your website. Do you want somebody to book a meet and greet? Do you want them to create an account with your booking software? Whatever that main goal is, that's going to be your call to action on your website. That should be above the fold. All right, before we wrap up, here are a few smaller tips for your above the fold on the homepage. Number one, make sure that any external links like your client login pages or social media icons open up in a new tab. You do not want to make them not know how to get back to your website if they click on one of those pages, and you also want them on your website longer. So if you allow a link to open up in a new tab and now they're exploring your Facebook or they're inquiring on your booking software, they can simply exit out of that and your website will still be up and they can still start, going through blog posts or now look at your FAQs, or maybe they want to take that next step now if they haven't already. You want to give them the option to come back to your website. That also helps Google see that people are on your website longer, which ultimately helps with SEO and rankings. Number two, make sure your logo links back to your homepage. And number three, make sure if you place your email or phone number in the header that both text boxes are linked to your email and phone number. So if they click on it, it'll automatically pull it into their email or phone. That's it. We did it. As a recap, here are the changes I would recommend for your homepage above the fold. Number one, add your business location or service area. Number two, spruce your headline with clear and strategic language. 3, Audit your main menu or navigation area. 4, add an action-oriented and bold call to action button with the main goal of what action step you want your ideal client to take on your website. 5, make sure all external links open in a new tab. 6, make sure your logo links back to your homepage. And 7, make sure your contact information is hyperlinked. These tips may seem like small changes, and while they are quick and easy changes that you can make literally today, they can certainly lead to people staying on your website longer and can result in more leads and more bookings. And that's the goal. In our next episode, I'm going to dive into something a lot of you have been asking about. In fact, it was actually one of the top things mentioned in our community survey that asked what you wanted to hear on the podcast, and it's going to be a good one. Until then, I encourage you to review these tips and start making changes on your website, even if you do just 1 or 2 of them. All of these are so quick and easy, but can really make a big difference. Just give it a try and see what changes may come your way. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Pet Marketing Unleashed podcast all the way to the end. You're the best. If you loved what you heard, please share the podcast with your pet biz friends. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and leave us a 5-star review. We love to hear what you think of the show, and we are so grateful for all the support and love you show by sharing the podcast with others. And don't forget to stop by our website, petmarketingunleashed.com, where you'll find a ton of resources, recommended tools, blogs, templates, courses, and more to help you grow a stress-free and fulfilling pet business. Here's to saving time, ditching the stress, and standing out from the pack. Thanks again so much for listening, and I will be back soon with a new episode. Bye for now.